I hope you're enjoying this beautiful Saturday, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Sarah Horbacewicz. Here are some of the top stories that we're following right now. How to best protect yourself from breast cancer. We're going to take a closer look at some of the steps you can take and when to start getting screened. An EF2 tornado hits Hot Springs. How Arkansans are coming together to rebuild after Tuesday night's storms. And it might be time to get a new driver's license. The Real ID deadline is coming up fast. We'll share when you need to make the switch. But first, after a stormy start to the week, so far we've been enjoying a beautiful weekend. I know a lot of folks are probably opening up their pools this week. Meteorologist Nathan Scott joins us now. Nathan, what can we expect for the rest of this Mother's Day weekend? I know a lot of brunch plans are at stake here.
Good afternoon, Sarah. We have some changes on the way for Mother's Day. After a beautiful Saturday, lots of sun, warm temperatures, low humidity. You can see what's happening behind me. The clouds are on the increase in Oklahoma and northeast Texas. Those clouds will continue to spread their way into the natural state through the course of the evening into tonight. But any plans out there this evening, you're in good shape. Temperatures will go from the 80s, drop down into the 70s with those clouds on the increase. And we still have, I would say, the small potential. If you didn't see the northern lights out there last night, you will have a small chance tonight. I think the chance is much lower than what we saw last night. I'll explain more on that coming up a little bit later. But lows tonight, not as cool. We'll drop down primarily into the upper 50s to lower 60s because of the clouds moving in. And eventually those clouds will bring in rain, it looks like, especially for locations to the south and southwest of Little Rock as we go into Mother's Day afternoon. The rain will overspread the entire state tomorrow night and into your Monday. More on that wet forecast coming up.
All right, thanks, Nathan. Tonight, the cleanup process continues in Garland County after an EF2 tornado hit earlier this week. The overnight storms initially knocked out power for more than 20,000 Arkansans. And as anyone in Walnut Valley, Mayflower, or Valonia will tell you, recovering from a storm isn't always easy. The cleanup process in Hot Springs could take weeks.
And after that, the wind started blowing and there was hail coming down, and then the trees was like, shoo.
And within a few seconds, I heard the loudest crash I've ever heard.
Melody Walker and Lacey Boughton are neighbors living along Shannon Lane in Hot Springs, both seeing considerable damage from that EF2 tornado. The city of Hot Springs says that their resources are maxed out. The city is suspending debris collections over the weekend, but the compost facility is still open. They're hoping to open more disposal sites soon. The school year is almost over, and that means graduation season. Today, the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff held their 169th commencement ceremony. Graduates walked across the stage at the Pine Bluff Convention Center. That's where award-winning actress Robin Givens delivered the 2024 commencement address.
And there will be adversity. You will experience adversity, but I promise you, always, adversity is always an opportunity to reach greatness. Please don't forget.
On top of acting, Givens has worked closely with the National Domestic Violence Hotline, even receiving an award for her dedication. So certainly congratulations to all at UAPB. According to CBS News, recent college graduates on the job hunt may be the latest target for scammers, using information online to trick people into believing that a specific job was recommended for them by a professor they know. LinkedIn warns job seekers to be skeptical of any postings that ask for personal information early in the search process. Make sure that you use caution and do your research before sharing any sensitive information with anyone online. Now, we usually talk about porch pirates during the holidays, but it happens year-round. A new study reveals the states where residents are most and least likely to have their packages stolen from their front porch. Here in the natural state, Arkansas was ranked the 6th least likely. The study ranked Mississippi the 4th least likely. Tennessee was 16, with Alaska being the worst state when it comes to porch pirates. The most searched for shipping company for lost mail is USPS, followed by Amazon and FedEx. The deadline to have an updated Real ID license is now just a year away. You have until May 7th of next year to make the switch. At that point, the new rules will take effect, but it won't necessarily impact all Arkansans. Scott Harden with the Department of Finance and Administration says Arkansans don't necessarily have to have that Real ID and that your regular driver's license will still be valid. But there are still plenty of instances that you might need one or one of the approved alternatives.
You don't have to obtain a Real ID in Arkansas. However, and that's a big however, if someone flies frequently, if they're in and out of a federal building, they're going to have either beginning May 7, 2025, a Real ID. And if you don't have that, you're going to have a passport or an active military ID.
The Real ID program dates back to a recommendation for the 9/11 Commission that required additional verification of personal information and added security features. The program was initially supposed to take effect in 2008, but it was delayed. In Arkansas, you can get a Real ID at any state revenue office, and it costs $10 to exchange your current license for one. The new ID will remain valid for 8 years. Over in North Little Rock this weekend, the Argenta Downtown Council is hosting a Dogtown Throwdown, bringing the community out during this nice weather. The two-day event started yesterday and it goes all the way through tonight. They started this during COVID and say it's been a success ever since.
We started this during COVID about, 4 or 5 years ago to extend our outdoor dining because we're having issues with COVID and indoor dining, and it became a big hit. So now, 5 years later, it has caught on. We still do this outdoor dining. It's the second weekend of 4 months out of the year.
And don't worry, they'll do it again in September if you missed it, and again in October. And there was a lot of buzz for the 20th annual Buzz BQ that took place earlier today. Most of the vendors are local, but competitors came from all across the state. The event raised money for the Ronald McDonald House.
Well, it's a great organization. I mean, obviously it's a local organization, helps a lot of families in need. We've worked with them for a few years, and the great thing about them is they bring a lot of volunteers, do a great job for us too.
Today's event to raise money included an amateur and professional competition.